everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my very first update for my no-buy for this year. So this year I'm doing a structured and intentional buying kind of situation, and if you haven't seen my introduction to my low buy intentions for this year, then I definitely recommend that you go check that out, because otherwise you may be a little bit confused. But I am currently on a complete no buy. So I have been in a no buy period since the very beginning of this year, and I will continue to be on a complete no buy until the end of this month of April. So I just wanted to sit down and share with you some of my thoughts about how it's going so far. And I did ask on my community tab actually almost 2 weeks ago any questions that you have for me regarding my experience so far. And yeah, I just thought that I would get ready with you and share with you some of my thoughts. So like I said, it was 2 weeks ago that I asked that question, and I had every intention of actually just sitting down and filming that at some point during that week. I said, this week I'm gonna film a low buy update, and I never got a chance to sit down and do it. And honestly, I am really strapped for time at the moment, so that is a huge influence on my experience so far with my no buy, is simply being so busy. I do think that's part of the reason why I'm feeling like I'm very successful with it right now. I just am finishing up my schooling, so I am a full-time student but completely remote, and there are tremendous feelings of guilt associated with not being at my computer or not focusing on schoolwork when I'm at my computer. And so that has really taken away from the opportunity, I suppose, to get kind of in the wormhole of shopping online for makeup and other non-essential things. Oh my gosh, I feel so silly in a bun also. I'm gonna have to sort out my hair after this. I am almost done school. I'll be done at the end of April, the last week of April. I'll be completely done school. So it was a 2-year program. It was 2 years of interactive media design for web, which is basically web design and web development basics, like more front-end web development. And so, yeah, it kind of takes a lot of my energy and a lot of my time to grasp some concepts, especially considering I'm not in class like I had intended to be when I decided to go back to school and finally get some sort of education. I was like, I need to be in a structured environment where I can really actually thrive, because I know myself, I'm easily distracted, but I'm so motivated right now to get it done and over with that it's proven to be okay. But it's hard. It really is hard for me. I've been really I'm not gonna lie, I've been not in the best headspace lately regarding school and just regarding life in general. I mean, like the state of the world at the moment. And I think that's something that a lot of people are feeling, and I'm sure a lot of you can understand and reflect that, because man, this year, this past 12 months or almost 13 months now has just been so turbulent and so difficult. It has been really trying. And so I think for me, I have been fortunate in the sense that I have been able to move my whole life over to fully remote and fully online. I started working for a company last April that I've never worked in an office for. I've only ever worked from home with them. And school, I'm lucky my program is something that is so easily able to be done via the internet, because we have to be on our computers. I do feel a little bit, again, I have this issue with guilt. I feel like I talk about this often in these kind of like sit down videos, but I do have feelings of a lot of guilt associated with the fact that it has been hard for me this year, even though there's so many other people out in the world that have had it so much harder, and my experience is probably one of the easier experiences. I have so much privilege in terms of it being easy for me to be online at all times, and I have, you know, the financial means to be able to get groceries and produce delivered and that kind of stuff. I've been very lucky, and I don't know, man. I don't know. It's been hard, but that's not really the point of this video. I guess in part that has to do with why I've been able to keep up with my low buy, and that why I felt very motivated to be successful in a no buy. Yeah, so it has been just over 3 months now that I've been on this no buy period, and honestly for most of 2020 I didn't purchase that much makeup either. I mean, I purchased probably more than I needed, and I brought in more than I needed. I did start receiving a little bit more PR back in 2020. Not a lot. I didn't really take in that much, but you know, a little bit. And so I had seen my collection grow for sure last year, and I am just feeling like a little bit overwhelmed by the state of my collection. Even still, even though I've now been on a no buy for 3 months, I still feel like there's a lot of stuff in my collection, and that's in part because I have accepted some PR over the last 3 months, and that has allowed me to make this no buy even more successful, because I haven't even said I haven't purchased any makeup at all yet in 2021. Not one thing. I haven't purchased one thing. I have purchased a handful of skincare items. So I purchased 2 sunscreens, which this year I really didn't want to purchase an excessive amount of skincare. I really just wanted to purchase skincare on an as needed kind of basis. Like, I didn't really feel compelled to want to acquire more skincare than I could go through. But I did purchase 2 sunscreens. I'm feeling like that was a really stupid idea. I purchased 2 of the Super Goop sunscreens, and I don't really particularly love either of them. So that's unfortunate. I also did purchase a face cream, like a nighttime face cream, because I don't have any others, so I don't feel bad about that. And then I have purchased a couple of nail polishes. I purchased 3. I purchased some body care stuff like a body lotion, because I have finished up one since purchasing that one. And what else? I don't know. I have actually been keeping track of every single item, whether it is nails or hair or skincare or makeup. I've been keeping track of every single thing that has made its way into my life over these past 3 months, and I'm gonna continue to do that for the rest of 2021 and probably honestly moving forward. It's just a great way to keep myself in check. But I'll share those on the screen with you so that you can really see what has come into my life. So you can see in January I did receive a fair amount of PR, and these are also based on the color of the column. You can see whether it's PR or if it was something I purchased for myself. I did receive quite a bit of PR, and I'm so unbelievably thankful for that. But at the same time, I probably didn't need to accept the PR opportunities that I did in their entirety. Like, it is quite a lot. It's quite a lot, and I was trying to be quite selective when I did say yes. Like the Look Fantastic things, I was being really selective. Like, are they things that I don't have duplicates of in my collection? Are these things that I've been genuinely interested in? Are these things that make sense for me as a consumer? And for the most part, yes, they were. But then there were a couple things that were like, just kind of toss them in there. like there was 2 mascaras. I did not need 2 mascaras, you know, but it is what it is. I haven't even opened one of those. So yeah, I did receive quite a bit of PR, and that made this no buy period that much easier for me, because I had quite a bit of stuff to try out, quite a bit of stuff to, you know, feel that sensation. Because sometimes when you're stressed, I know for me and I know for a lot of us, when you're stressed, you kind of just want to bring something new into your life, something new and exciting. And so I've been extremely fortunate that although I haven't purchased anything with my own money, my own finances, I have had that experience of being able to bring something new into my collection, something new and exciting, so that I have that, you know, feeling of gratification. But that's really something that I'm trying to work on. That's something that I'm trying to not encourage myself to do through having a no buy. I want to, one, save money, but I really, really want to move away from that feeling where it's like something new gives me satisfaction and gives me value and gives me excitement, because I do have so much stuff already in my collection that is not really that well used, and I can find new and exciting ways to use it. And although it doesn't look pretty and picture perfect because it's not, you know, pristine, it still is something that I can reinvent and use in a different context, and, you know, maybe fall in love with it in a way that I hadn't in the past. And that's why I decided to start doing that 30 by 30 project pan, because I think 30 uses on something can really give you the opportunity to find new and exciting ways to use it and to fall in love with something that, for whatever reason, you can't seem to part with. And it has proven to be a bit of a challenge, but it's good. It's a really good challenge for me, because trying to use something a large quantity of times, like 30 uses in the grand scheme of things for a makeup product, shouldn't seem like that many uses, because, you know, these things are meant to last us for sometimes years. But it is a bit of a challenge with someone like myself who, you know, I want to try new things. I want to have that variety. I feel like I'm not making any sense, but basically I'm just trying to really fill those urges and those desires with items that I already own. And I've really taken to shopping my stash and using what I have and finding excitement and joy out of the things that I already own. And I think in years past, that wasn't something that I really embraced or wanted to partake in per se. I wanted something new almost constantly. And in the month of March, actually, I didn't receive any PR whatsoever. And it was kind of a relief, because I am feeling really overwhelmed by other exterior things, and I didn't really want to commit myself to the time to have to review things or figure out like concepts of like ways I wanted to integrate products into my content, and I didn't want that feeling to overtake me. I didn't want to have to feel stuck to creating content, you know what I mean? And so in the month of March, I didn't receive one thing that was PR, and I am feeling so good that I did not get any new things, basically. But March flew by for me, and there was no part of me that wanted any one thing more than what I already had. I did purchase some nail polish. I went to the store and I don't know, I did not go with the intention of purchasing any nail polishes, but I did end up purchasing three nail polishes, and I'm really happy with that purchase. I'm not unhappy at all, because I hadn't purchased any new nail polishes or even brought in any new polishes since last June. And one of them is the one that I'm wearing today, and I freaking love them. I'm not one to over-consume nail polish, so that's not a problem for me, not a problem area whatsoever. I love painting my nails. I paint my nails probably twice a week, and I know that's a lot, but I feel like I have plenty of variety within the nail polishes that I own, and I love putting eyeshadow on top of nail polish, so I really have endless possibilities in my collection. But those three really just stood out to me, and they did offer a little bit of variety that I think is fine. But yeah, without purchasing any new makeup in the month of March, I'm honestly feeling this sense of relief, and I was feeling a little bit heavy even in January and February. I know a lot of people say like PR shouldn't really count towards a no buy because it is free. But for me, one of the driving factors for wanting to do a no buy is not entirely financial. It's also really thinking about the waste and my impact as a consumer. I do think that a lot of things when it comes to waste and our impacts as individuals, a lot of it does weigh on companies and on corporations. It does, definitely. Like having proper packaging, having ethical sourcing of materials, all that stuff really does need to lie on the actual companies and the producers and industry. It truly does. But as an individual, participating in that, I think, is something that I'm kind of struggling with a little bit, because it's unavoidable in the beauty industry to not produce plastic waste. It's unavoidable. If you want to participate in this little community, in this zone, like it's really difficult, and there can be a huge barrier to entry if you don't want to be wasteful, quite honestly. I mean, you can purchase less, and that's always a good start. You can purchase less. And so that's really what I want to do moving forward, is I just want to purchase less. But it still is an industry that, you know, thrives on creating waste, because not only are our items packaged in plastic and in metal that isn't recyclable or with magnets, it also is an actual consumable product inside of that packaging. It basically just goes either down the drain, off your face or off your hands, or it goes into a landfill. And so there still is that element of waste to it that I think a lot of people don't really recognize or consider. And I'm not trying to like say that you're wrong for purchasing anything whatsoever. It's just something that I've been, you know, noticing and feeling this shift in myself. I guess there's this part of me that has always just been a willing participant, and kind of, I would kind of close my eyes and just think like, okay, well, it's not my fault, and it's not on me. And I think that as humans, we have that kind of feeling about a lot of things, when it comes to, you know, meat consumption, and when it comes to plastic usage, like when it comes to like takeout and that kind of stuff. Like we don't really take it on ourselves as individuals, and I don't think that as individuals we should per se. But for some reason I really have lately, and I felt like I want to do better by just purchasing less. And so in purchasing less, I've actually been feeling really good, because I am seeing my savings account grow, and I have never ever had savings like I do right now. And that's because I always wanted to buy something new. I wanted to buy new skincare, new makeup, new shoes. You know, I even wanted to oftentimes just randomly buy gifts for people, and I kind of am starting to do away with even that, because as much as it's nice to have that gesture where you give someone something, like now I'm putting that waste as a responsibility on them instead. And I'm starting to see the world in that kind of light that I never had seen before, I suppose. Right now I'm working anywhere between like 8 and 15 hours a week. And I've always worked full-time pretty much my entire adult life, and I'm 29. And I've never had savings like I do right now, working less than half of full-time hours, which is just wild. It's wild. I don't know where all that money went. I truly cannot even believe it. I am also very fortunate that right now, because I don't have to commute or anything, I'm not paying for gas. In fact, I have no opportunity to even really go anywhere more often than not, because my boyfriend sold his car, so he's using my car to go to and from work. So I'm pretty much stuck at home anyways, if I'm honest. Even if I wanted to go to a store, which I don't right now, like I don't really like shopping now. I feel really overwhelmed and really upset when I go out into the world. So I'm just avoiding shopping as a whole, because if I'm on my computer, I feel guilty that I'm not doing homework. And if I'm out in the world, I just want to be home. I just want to be home, or I want to go for a walk. Like I want to be in nature. I don't want to be in a store. Yeah, this has been a really interesting experience for me. And I know that this is not the experience for a lot of people when it comes to no buys and low buys. In fact, I know it can be really, really hard for a lot of people. But it's been, I don't want to say easy, but it's been eye-opening for me for sure. I know I haven't talked about literally one product that I've used yet, but I'm using Mercury from the Subculture palette through my brows. And when I first tried this, well, I did not enjoy it at all, but now I just go with a very, very light hand and kind of just like tap it into my brows instead of creating like a stroke shape, which I would with other shadows and other powder products. I kind of just tap it through those more sparse areas, and I've come to really like the way that this looks through my brows. I did not think this color was going to work out for me. I thought this was going to be a complete disaster when I first tried it, and honestly the first time it was a bit blocky and a bit heavy, and it definitely read as like a cool gray, but now I think I can make it work. But yeah, like doing things like this, honestly, like multi-purposing products has made me feel a lot of excitement for my makeup collection, and I don't really feel the need to acquire more. A lot of you have asked what has tempted me during these past 3 months and how I've managed to avoid purchasing them, or like how I've talked myself down from purchasing them. And I do oftentimes look on like Trend Mood just to kind of get a feel for what's on the market, what's new, what's exciting. I see it in people's Instagram stories, you know, but I've stopped watching like beauty news. As much as I love Kat and Haley, I just stopped because I did find a lot of the time when I heard their commentary, I'd get really excited about things, or I'd read in the comments people's excitement, and it would make me really excited, versus like when I just statically see an image of a product and without, you know, someone else's input, oftentimes I just look at it and I go, okay, well, I already have something basically like that. Or yeah, that's cute, but dang, do I ever have way too many blushes already sitting in my collection. I can't even imagine purchasing that or spending my money on that when I have things that, you know, are very much underutilized at this point already in my life, you know? So I've just been not watching things that really talk about new releases, because I think hearing someone's actual voice and their emotion is really influential to me in a way that seeing text on a screen oftentimes just doesn't have the same impact for me. And there have been a few things though that have definitely caught my eye, and I perhaps will purchase. I know for sure there is one thing I will buy, which is a Auric Glow Lust. I'm trying to decide, should I purchase the selenite one or morganite, or should I purchase both? I feel like it's excessive, beyond excessive, to purchase both. But I really want to get morganite because it's like my last name is Morgan, and I know that's like a really silly reason to purchase it. If I'm honest, that is a ridiculous reason to purchase something. But I don't know. I keep looking at like comparison swatches between the two, and I feel like a lot of people purchase selenite just because it has the more golden tone. But morganite doesn't look super like pinky or gold tone to me, and actually it looks very, very similar from what I can see to what the Becca Opal Shimmering Skin Perfector looked like, and I really enjoyed, while I was using that up, using it underneath of sunscreen and as like a standalone product on my face, and it didn't look too pinky. It was just like a perfect color. So I don't know, if you have tried either of them, let me know what you think and maybe will work best for me. I do have warm undertones, and you know, further on into the year when I do end up purchasing that, I will be getting a little bit more of a tan. I always get tan over the summer. So it's possible that it's not going to be the best bet for me to get morganite, and I feel like it would be a little bit wild to purchase morganite and selenite, but there's a temptation for sure. I don't know. I guess I'll have to see kind of what it ends up being like for shipping and all that kind of nonsense. when the time comes. But I know I'm going to purchase one of those because I love Sam Ravindal, and I knew going into this, I even said in my introduction video, whatever Sam releases with her brand, I'll have watched enough reviews by the time I'm off my no-buy that I'll probably purchase something from her. And I'm not interested in any way, shape, or form by the eyeshadows. I just have far too many eyeshadows. But the other thing that really did tempt me is the, what's it called? It's Mermazing palette. Is that by, who's that by again? Was that by Clarity Cosmetics? I think so. Yeah, that palette just looks so, so beautiful, but I have this feeling that it won't even be available when I would be off of my no-buy. So I didn't purchase it in the pre-order because I don't want to be spending my money right now on makeup. And I didn't want to invest any of my time into the waiting for updates or waiting for shipping confirmations and blah, blah, blah. I don't have that kind of brain space right now. So I feel like I've been pretty good. I've been a good girl about my no-buy, and I'm really motivated to be successful with it. Honestly, otherwise, I think I'm not tempted by anything else that's new on the market, but I think I'm probably gonna buy a Bare Minerals concealer when I'm off of my no-buy. I think so. I've been really wanting to get a stick concealer because I do, have some fine lines under my eyes. I'm almost 30, and I've been feeling like my skin is looking older lately. And I remember hearing things about stick concealers and potted concealers that because they're that little bit more emollient, they are better suited to, dry skin, but also more crepey skin. And I've been really liking the texture of that Merit stick foundation, although I do not recommend it. But I've been liking the texture, and it's been interesting to try out something that's in more of a stick formulation for me because I always was a little bit weary, a little bit hesitant about them. But actually, it's been really inspiring and exciting and making me want to try out a more fuller coverage variation of that. And so I think I've come down to the fact that I want to purchase the Bare Minerals one. But I'd like to be done with this one by the time that I purchased the Bare Minerals one. I kind of want to still think of my collection as a one in, one out sort of thing. Although in practice, I don't think that will be realistic for me entirely. I do kind of just want to try to keep that mentality. I know this video is going to be an eternity long. I'm so, so sorry. But let's see if there's any questions that I kind of haven't yet covered. How do you convince yourself to wait when something you've been really wanting is on sale? I don't know when things are on sale. So I honestly don't really know when things are on sale anymore. I just haven't been keeping up with that. I think detaching myself from all makeup buying, platforms and stuff like that has been the biggest thing that has helped me. But I actually saw that the Sephora VIB sale, if it hasn't yet already happened, it is happening very, very soon, and it's not happening in May like I anticipated. So I don't think I'll be participating in that. I was thinking, oh, maybe there's some skincare or fragrance that I'd like to buy that's not makeup, but realistically, no need and no desire to purchase anything in the sale. And I'm actually just a beauty insider now. So I did not spend enough money to get myself into a realm where I can get 15 or 20% off last year. So the 10% off isn't enough of a motivator for me to want to purchase anything, quite honestly. Yeah, I've just not been monitoring these things, but realistically, sometimes when things that I've wanted go on sale, sometimes I have in the past, I have given in. I have purchased things, even though I didn't think it through per se. And now in hindsight, after having done that, I last year on sale purchased one of the Kapari lip glossies because it was on major sale. And I purchased a Becca bronzer because it was on major sale. And now in hindsight, I'm I haven't even opened up the Kapari lip glossy that I purchased, I think last July or August. Haven't even opened it because I still am working my way through this one. which is virtually empty. I think a lot of people would consider this empty, but I gotta use up every last freaking drop. And same with the Becca bronzer. I have so many other bronzers that the Becca one, yes, it was nice to kind of have as an addition to my collection, but it was by far an essential purchase, and by far it was not necessarily something I needed. So I think moving forward, when things go on sale, I really need to look at my inventory numbers, look at my collection as a whole, and see if it really does fit a gap or even a desire that I have. Because sometimes I just want something because it's new and exciting and the price is low. But is it something I'm going to actually use? Not necessarily. I'm just really going to try to start looking at the world like that, because as a general consumer, that's something that I've been trying to do for a few years. Like, especially when it came to clothing, for the last few years, I haven't purchased things that were just like an exciting, like, you know, dream self, fantasy self kind of product. I've been really trying, or like item. Everything that I've purchased when it comes to clothes lately are very, very much practical, and I haven't even purchased any new clothes in 2021 either. I mean, I live in basically sweatpants and leggings, so there hasn't been any need to purchase new clothes. I don't know. I think mentally I've just kind of hit a switch a little bit, and this might be temporary. This might be something that, you know, when I have more time and energy to invest into seeing new releases and seeing new products come out and watch more videos, perhaps it will change. But for the time being, it's not really something that I've been thinking about, is purchasing makeup. I really, really, really wanted to purchase the Auric Glow Lust when it released, but I knew it didn't really make sense for me and my collection because I do have, you know, comparable products already. So I've been really trying to look at the new releases as the product itself and not the branding behind it and not the packaging behind it or encased around it. I've just been really trying to think of it as the actual product, because once it's on your face, like, nobody would know the difference between the Auric Glow Lust and other liquid highlighters or glowy base products. So I've just really tried to detach everything from it and like look at the actual physical product itself and the color and the formula. And then I look within my own collection and I see I have that. I feel like for a long time I was always craving something new. I was always craving trying something new, and I don't feel that urgency anymore or that excitement anymore. I do feel this little hint of guilt when I want to have something new, because I have so much, and I know my collection is actually quite small for somebody who is in this realm comparatively, and I don't like to compare myself because it's big for me and it's a lot of makeup for myself. And actually, that's something that I wanted to touch on and I totally forgot about. One of the things that has been really eye-opening for me is realizing that if I want to keep my collection at this size, I would have to declutter things in order to bring in new things. And as I said with gifts, when I gift somebody something, I'm creating possible waste for them. I'm giving them something that will turn into garbage possibly eventually, right? It's the same thing as decluttering my makeup products. All I am doing is displacing the waste onto someone else and giving them the responsibility for that waste. And I didn't realize that prior. I had never ever thought about that in the past. And I know, like, a lot of people in my life, their makeup collections are comprised of things that I gave them and they didn't even have the opportunity to like want or desire it. And so, I mean, I don't think that anybody feels upset when I do give them those kinds of things. I don't think so. But I don't want to just put that responsibility onto them. That's why I really, really, really am so selective when it comes to PR as well, because I don't want to just take on a bunch of waste either as an individual. So yeah, it's been a switch for me. There has been something that has really changed in my heart and in my mind, that I don't know, man. I honestly, I can't really put it into words, and I feel like I'm really alone in this mentality, or like not alone per se, but I don't think that this is like the common thought process when it comes to doing no and low buys. I really don't think that this is really the way that a lot of people look at collecting. And I really don't like that term anymore. Like this is my makeup collection. I don't know what else to say. My makeup storage, I suppose. My makeup hoard. It's not a hoard. I don't mean to laugh at that. But what else do you call it? When you call something a collection, it means that it's coveted and it's valuable. And my collection is coveted and it's very valuable, but it's a collection that doesn't need to necessarily grow to be considered value, I suppose. I don't know. Now I just feel like I'm rambling. And I'm so sorry. I feel like I also did not answer any of the freaking questions. I just went on a spiel. So I'm hoping that some of this is even remotely coherent in some capacity. I kind of feel like it's probably not. I just feel like there has been a big change in my thinking, and I do feel like I have kind of lost interest in the industry as it stands right now. Not in the industry as a whole, because I do see so much value in makeup for confidence and for creativity, and I personally, it really is something that's a very important part of my day. Those days when I am not feeling my best, or I'm not ready to get started and like stare at my screen all day, and just, it motivates me. It really does. I feel pulled together. It's like putting on leggings or jeans versus putting on sweatpants for the 10th day in a row. It gives me this motivation. And so makeup for me is something that's super important, and it's really integral to my routine and to part of my identity as well, quite honestly. Like, I don't think this face is my identity. I mean, like, being somebody who enjoys makeup and does this as a part of my everyday situation. It is a part of my identity. So I don't mean to say that the beauty industry is completely flawed and there's no value in it, and what the heck, like why do we partake in this? Because there's so much value in it. I do think that the industry needs to start having this shift towards quality over quantity. So better quality releases that have that longevity for the consumer, and things that are not so like redundant also, because unfortunately I've succumbed to this as well. Like, there's that feeling where you just want everything that's new, and of course that's the way that these industries make money, is by always having something new. But I do think that there is something that needs to give. There needs to be a minimized amount of things released, and more consideration about how that has an impact on people and the planet. So, like, I don't want to say like the makeup industry has to end, because that would be completely heartbreaking. I just do personally think there needs to be change. There needs to be change in so many industries right now. And right now, I have said this in my personal life, there is not really that much opportunity for innovation, because I think right now for a lot of businesses, it's just about survival. I am feeling really discouraged by that when I think about, you know, if I want to go to my local coffee shop, I'm getting a wax lined paper cup that I can't recycle with a plastic lid, because I can't even take in my own to-go cup and they're just trying to survive. They're not going to buy the compostable cups and stuff because they're just trying to survive. They're just trying to survive. And the beauty industry, I don't think is just trying to survive. I really think that the beauty industry is one that is completely thriving because people are bored. They want new things. They want to try something different. And all the power to you. Like if that gives you value and satisfaction, 100%. Go for it. Buy more, because I do not want to ever feel like I am judging anyone. It's just internal. What I've been going through is completely personal and internal. The beauty industry, I think, does have the funds and does have the time and resources to be innovative. And if I'm giving my money constantly to, you know, these big corporations instead of these smaller brands, I'm giving my money as like a vote to continue on this trajectory. So as I do continue to purchase and participate in this community in the coming years, I do want to be considerate of multiple factors. And that's part of the reason why I have alluded to this, and I do want to kind of do a more thorough talk about this, but I have alluded to the fact that like cruelty-free for me is not really something that I want to have as like the gold standard. I understand that kind of stuff is not accessible for everyone, so I need to kind of find this balance. But for me personally, because I am fortunate enough to have, you know, a little bit more disposable income occasionally, I want to make sure that when I do spend my money and when I do choose to participate in this community and in this industry, that I'm really trying to be more responsible. But as a whole, I know it's not my responsibility. It's not your responsibility as a whole. But I do definitely, just like I said, I've said so many times, I do kind of struggle with tremendous feelings of guilt. So I need to do my part just for my own personal sake. But I have to wrap this up because I'm just getting a little bit ranty at the moment. Not ranty. I really hope that nobody thinks that I'm just trying to like guilt trip you or to make you feel like you're not doing your part or whatever. I'm just speaking about my own realizations and reflections and things that I've been working through internally and things that I've come to realize internally. And I really, truly, truly don't want anyone to feel like I'm being judgmental, because there are so many things that come into play when it comes to being a consumer. And that's about affordability, accessibility. Those are the two biggest factors. So when you decide to purchase from a brand that like is owned by a huge corporation, it's because that's something that's readily available to you. That's something that you can access and maybe you can afford over other things. And so that's part of the reason why I think I'm going to just really minimize the amount of products that are coming into my life so that I can afford different items that are maybe from brands that are a bit more considerate. But that doesn't mean that that works for everyone. Truly, that doesn't work for everyone. And that doesn't work for everyone's way of wanting to consume. Like, I personally think I want to consume less stuff now. I just want to bring fewer things into my collection because my collection is so full. And that's because in the past I did purchase like a lot of inexpensive items at a bigger quantity of products. And through doing that, through having that experience, that's how I've come to realize that that's not really something that I want for myself anymore. And so I have no judgment. I have no judgment whatsoever for anybody who does things differently than what I've outlined here as a intention or as a goal, because my mentality can also change at any point. I am this person now and I have this mindset now, but that doesn't mean that that's who I'm going to be even in a year, because we're all growing, we're all changing. And now I'm sorry, I gotta wrap this up because I just feel like I'm trying to just rationalize myself in a way, but also, I don't know, I don't really even know what I'm trying to express anymore. So I have to wrap this up, but my low buy has been extremely successful for me. There have been a few things that have come into my life via PR, and then a handful of things that I have purchased myself, although I haven't purchased any new makeup, and that's really what we're here to talk about. So that is everything for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that maybe you're just entertained by my rambles. But yeah, that's gonna be everything. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everyone.